All right, so day 2 of this stuff, there are 2 parts to it, okay, which one of the parts, it's not anything new from yesterday. So I'm going to rewrite those laws that I gave you yesterday and talk about them again, but it's going the opposite way that we did yesterday. So on the first law, remember it was log of A times B. What did that equal when we split it apart? Plus. So yesterday, you went from it being multiplied to added, right? That's how you split it apart. Today, it's going to have adding, and you bring it back together into multiply. Okay, so you're going to go the opposite direction this time. The second law, remember, was where it's A divided by B. So what was the divide the same as?
Subtraction.
Subtraction. So again, when you see subtraction, it's going to be divided. And for the third one, remember when you had the exponent, where did it go?
To the front.
To the front. So if a number's in the front, it's going to go back up to the exponent. That's what's going to happen. So these laws are the same 3 laws I gave you yesterday. I did not change any of them. The only difference is yesterday you expanded, like some of you will on Sunday. Then Sunday is Super Bowl, in case you're wondering. Okay, so a lot of people eat on Super Bowl Sunday.
I work.
Expand. Get it?
Yeah.
All right. So then today, what you're going to do is you're going to condense it, which means I'm going to give you the bigger one. I want it down to 1 log instead of having 2 or 3. Okay? So here's how they're going to work. You're going to have something like this.
How do you expect me to see you?
Log, I'll move.
Okay. No, he doesn't.
Let's go log of 4 plus 2 log 3 minus the log of 2. And what we want to do is we want to condense. We want to get it all down into 1 log. Okay? So when we're doing this, the way the order, or at least probably the easiest way to go about it is put the exponents back in first. So in front of the first log, is there a number? How about the second log?
Yeah.
Yep. So this goes back upstairs. How about the third log? No. So again, right now I have log 4 plus log 3 squared minus 2, or log 2. Everybody okay with that first one?
Uh-huh.
Now, go left to right. So with the first 2, what symbol is in between them?
Plus.
A plus sign. Addition is the same as what?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. So here's what happens. When you do this, when you combine it back, when you're condensing it, you drop one of the logs off. Okay, you don't keep it as log and log. You drop one away. So it goes log 4 times 3 squared. We'll get there. Minus log 2. Okay? It's not log 4 times log 3 squared. All right? One of the logs gets dropped off, and I have 1 log left. So right now I've gone from having 3 logs down to 2 logs. I still got 1 more log to get rid of. What's minus the same as?
Division.
So I have log 4 times 3 squared over 2. Now, when it's like this, anytime you have numbers involved, we're going to try to simplify those out as best as possible. What's 3 squared? 9. What's 9 times 4? 36. And what's 36 divided by 2? 18. So my final answer for that would have been the log of 18. Okay? So again, you put the exponents back up, and then I always work left to right, so adding gets back into multiplication, division gets back into subtraction gets back into division. So I went from having 3 logs down to 1, and that's what we want to have happen. That's condensing it. Some of you will be capable of doing it in less steps than what I just did that one in. Some of you will be able to do, once you put the exponents back in, you'll probably go right from the second one right down to the last one. And I know that. I feel comfortable with saying that some of you are capable of doing that. But if you can't right away, step by step until you get the hang of it. What do you think? Okay? Now, some of the other problems that's also going to be involved in that, just so that you guys know, it's not any different. It's just we're going to have letters. So, Mitchell, give me a number.
4.
So I have 4 ln of a letter.
A.
A. Kat, give me another number. Do you want a plus or a minus sign in between them? Plus. 8 ln of what letter? B. And Levi, give me another number.
7.
ln of
C.
C. How original, you guys. A, B, C. Okay? So, on this particular one, again, we have 3 logs involved. Remember, ln is the same as the natural log, so therefore we're still logging. Are there numbers in front of my logs?
Yeah.
Yep. Got to put them back up into exponents. So the first one becomes the ln of a to the 4th. Plus, what's the next one become? ln of b to the 8th. Good. And the last one? C to the 7th. Yeah. The negative stays there, Sam. Okay, so the 7 would just go up there. Everybody okay with that first one?
Yeah.
Now, here's something to take into account. When you go left to right, when we have an adding in here, and I'm going to change this just for one little bit. Okay, and only because, Kat, not that I didn't like yours, I just want to show you one that looks like this. Okay? I'm just going to change that to a minus. All right? I just want to show you what happens, because in case it does. I don't remember if it does or not. If I go one at a time, then the first one, ln of a to the 4th over b to the 8th, most people get that okay. And then they have minus the ln of c to the 7th, and they go, I don't know what to do next. All right? Because you have, it should be divided, correct? Shouldn't subtraction be divided? So what happens is, if I divide that, over here on my scratch piece of paper, this is what I have. Well, how do you divide fractions? You multiply it by its reciprocal. What's the reciprocal of c to the 7th? 1 over c to the 7th. So I change this to a times, and I put 1 over c to the 7th, and when you multiply those, you multiply top times the top, and bottom times the bottom. So what's the a to the 4th times 1? A to the 4th. And on the bottom, you get b to the 8th, c to the 7th. Now, that's what officially happens. Here's what you can do unofficially. If it's got a minus in front of it, it belongs on the bottom of the fraction. If it's got a plus in front of it, it belongs on the top of the fraction. That's the unofficial version of it. Officially, you multiply by the reciprocal, and that's what you get. However, if you have a minus sign in front of the log, it goes on the bottom of the fraction. If it's got a plus sign in front of the log, it goes on the top of the fraction. That's how it works. What do you think?
Is this just like half?
That's the first half, just like this. You just take the expanded form and condense it down into one log. Drop those logs off. Are you okay? Okay. Then the second half is going to be what we call the change of base formula. For the change of base formula, you're going to be able to log any base number now. So if I have log BA like this, what I would type is I would type the log of base 10A divided by the log base 10B. Why did I put base 10 there specifically?
So we can use our calculator.
So you can use your calculator, absolutely. So you could have been using your calculator the whole time. Sorry, I didn't tell you that before. So if I say something like this, if I have log base 7, 4, how would I type that in my calculator?
Sadly. Do you have to like flip it?
Which one's in the A position? 4. So I type log. Now remember, on your calculator, it's automatically base 10, right? So now here's one part that I want to make sure that you catch, because in a previous hour we were off a little bit because of this. When you type log on your calculator, automatically a parenthesis shows up, correct?
Yeah.
Then you type the number 4, then you got to close it. If you do not close it, it will calculate it wrong. Okay? Divided by log of 7. What is that answer? 0.712. Now the reason why I chose that one is because I want you to think about what you did yesterday. The assignment that you guys just turned in for me, one of the parts was log base 7, 4. And it was 0.712. If you look on page 331 in the top directions for 3 through whatever it was, that's the same. Cat? If you know, if your calculator has that. Some of your calculators do not.
Wait, math what?
I don't know. Maybe she can tell you.
Log base. I see it. Oh my god, that's super cool.
Maybe you have that on yours. I don't know. Some of them don't. Okay? So, now, the last half of your assignment, which is really, really short, is just going to ask you to tell me what you get.
It's like,
Okay? So, again, you could do something like this. If I had given you a problem, I don't know, like this. Log base 4, 256.
sorry, hold on, what was it? Log 4, 2, 6.
So again, log, close out the parenthesis, because that will not calculate it right for you, divided by log of 4, and what number spits out? 4. Now, on, let's say, the previous part of the chapter, what you would have done for that particular problem is this. See if it looks familiar. 256 is, what happened to that? 256 is really 4 to the 4th. And if the 4s match, then it's equal to whatever the exponent was. Do you remember doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's got a calculator option. Okay, now see if this will, I don't know, maybe help you out. What if I had log base 2x and I asked you to graph it? Could you use the change of base formula to help you graph? So in your y equals, what would you type? Log of x divided by log of 2. Go ahead and try it. I'm not going to ask you to graph today. I just want to point this out. What's it give you? Does it give you the curve? Now remember, on your calculators, it doesn't go all the way down to the floor because it just can't. Because of the fact that it looks like too much of a vertical line there, so it won't do that part. On my Inspire app, so Connor, you and I, when we type it in, Connor, guess what? It does go all the way down for you. So man, if I would have only taught you that before the test, then you could have did the one. I know. But the one graphing one, you could have actually just put it in. So, anyway, you're not going to have to graph on here today. All it's going to be is going to take this big long thing, you're going to condense it down to 1, or it'll use the change of base formula to tell me the answer correct to 3 decimal places. What do you think? Okay. So, on page 331 to 332. We are 24 to 30 and 34 to 40 evens.